Hello there, welcome to my review of the Rockford Files Season 2, Episode 3 and 4, as this is our first two-part episode of the season, Gearjammers. Written by Carlos Dunway and directed by William Wyatt. The episode begins with Rocky at the docks looking for dock manager Johnny Losalvo to sell him some tickets to the truckers' ball. He's followed by a goon who loses track of him, and Rocky sees Losalvo with another man doing some kind of deal, so walks off. While Rocky carries on clueless, we quickly come to realise this is a shady deal, and now Rocky's in a lot of trouble, as Hamill, the other man involved in the deal, wants him found and maybe bumped off.
Did you get him, you hear me? Might have to hit him.
Yes, sir, Mr. Hamill.
As Rocky cluelessly ambles around the docks, our first Colombo connection, being the same docks used in The Conspirators, he's followed by the goon who failed to stop him until he bumps into Losalvo, who discovers Rocky saw his illicit meeting and gets him out of there sharpish.
Yeah, I seen you about an hour ago over there in Warehouse 10. You and some big, expensive-looking guy, and you was passing him some papers, and you fellas was jawing.
We go on out the back, and I'll go with you.
Well, I don't feel like going yet.
I know.
This is an intriguing opening to the episode, already filled with much more jeopardy than the previous one, as the goon might be incompetent, but Rocky is so guileless that he's liable to just stumble into the guy who's after him. It's set up so that we clearly understand everything that's happening and just what the stakes are. And it does a great job of creating sympathy for Rocky and Losalvo, who might be crooked, but obviously still wants to protect his friend. The goon finds out who he's looking for, then, as good goons usually come in pairs, gets himself a buddy to rough up Jim in search of his dad. Jim doesn't actually know anything and wouldn't tell if he did, but luckily for him the goons are scared off by a lifeguard. Concerned, Jim goes looking for Rocky, making sure to pick up his gun. As he checks Rocky's house, he hears something, but it turns out to be LJ with his headphones on, oblivious to whoever has turned over Rocky's house. LJ tells Jim that Rocky was at his favourite truckers bar, Gearjammers, so that's where Jim heads next. As this cat and mouse and cat game continues, Jim begins to find out he doesn't know his father as well as he thought. And he discovers that not only was Rocky selling these tickets, but he also had a regular appointment with a liquor store for a bottle of champagne, and with a lady named Mary Ramsey.
Champagne?
Sure. Nothing's too good for Mary Ramsey.
Which is where Jim heads next, followed by the two goons, who obviously don't know who they're dealing with, especially as Jim unleashes his first of many J-turns on them, which would become a staple of the show and also come to be colloquially known as a Rockford turn. It quickly transpires that they are quite capable of keeping up with him, so he corners them and lets their tyres down before he escapes. It's a different resolution to a chase that proves Rockford is not infallible behind the wheel, but given the chance is also able to outthink his pursuers. Meanwhile, Losalvo tries to convince Hamill to call off his attack dogs, but to no avail. Jim then finds out from Mary Ramsey that Rocky has been working at the docks, something else he didn't know about.
Oh, he's been working down there part-time on the docks for the past couple of years, shuttling freight.
And moonlighting on his Social Security.
We then get a sense of what kind of business Hamill and Losalvo are into, as an armed gang hijack one truck after another, while Rockford finds Losalvo dead in a shipping crate. With Becca now involved in the murder investigation, he wants to know how Rocky is involved in all this, but Jim has no idea. Upon returning to Rocky's house, Rocky is there waiting with a frying pan, which he uses to inadvertently brain his own son.
What happened?
Well, I don't know. I come in here and you were laying on the floor. Somebody beamed you, I guess.
Somebody.
When Jim comes to, he's naturally pretty steamed that Rocky has been missing and has been leading this double life. But Rocky thinks they're after him for the $2,000 he raised selling tickets. This whole episode has been so well paced and action-packed, it's hard to believe it's almost over, and easy to see why this is a natural two-parter that couldn't have been resolved in one go. Not much actually happens, as it's mostly set-up, then Jim looking for his dad, but thanks to that set-up, the search is all that more tense, especially when Lo Salvo ends up dead. It might have been nice if it wasn't so obvious that it was Lo Salvo who got it immediately and that it might have been Rocky in the box. But it didn't really need that, as we could be pretty sure they wouldn't do that to Rocky. Especially as it would have detracted from some of the humour in the episode and the character work that they do with Jim and Rocky. It's really an episode exploring their relationship, Rocky's personality, and how much Jim cares for his father, as we get to see many different sides of their relationship throughout the episode. The first part of this two-parter draws to a close as Jim takes Rocky to the police station and finds that 6 truckers are there, having all been hijacked.
Hey, Charlie, what are the flashers running in packs now?
Flashers, he says. Hijacked and left them stripped to slow them up. 6 of them in 2 hours.
He has an encounter with a surly cop, played by Garner's real-life brother Jack, and Rocky tries to offload more tickets to the hijacked truckers.
Now see, this will show you more on right
Do I look like I got any place on me to carry $5?
Meanwhile, the goons plant a bomb in Jim's car. Luckily, Jim and Rocky avoid the blast and the episode ends. This is a great first part that sets up the situation and creates genuine jeopardy for Rocky, heightened by the murder of Lo Salvo, and explained by the truck thefts, but one that still manages to have fun with the characters and some laughs.
I gotta see Sergeant Becker, it's important.
I told you you can't go in, so get lost.
My only criticism is that it seems like the natural ending to this episode, to create a real cliffhanger, is to end it before the bomb goes off, making it look like there's a chance Jim and Rocky might get blown up, rather than seeing them get clear of the blast. While this might be a subversion of a cliche, in this case there's a reason the cliche works. It's a very minor criticism though, and this is still a 5 out of 5 for me. Part 2 kicks off right where we left off, and Rocky begins to understand the seriousness of his predicament. Back at Jim's trailer, Rocky is trying to work out what the hijackers are up to by looking at what they stole, and what they might steal next. But Jim's not convinced, as the range of items in the trucks was so disparate.
Yeah, Charlie, did those trucks ever turn up? Yeah, okay, thanks. No sign of them.
Jim finds it odd that the empty trucks haven't been found yet, so on a hunch, checks back at the depot they came from, and checks in with depot manager John Koenig, played by another Columbo connection, Jack Crucian, who appeared as victim Tomlin Dudek in The Most Dangerous Match. Sure enough, Jim's hunch pays off and the trucks are being hidden in plain sight, but bizarrely, they're still full. With Rocky getting cabin fever, wanting to return home, he has a blazing row with Jim over it, and they both make some excellent arguments.
You don't want me to go home because you're scared I'll get hurt. How is that different?
I'm supposed to know how to handle these situations. It's my business.
But most of the time I see you, you're in more traction than Evel Knievel.
But the resolution to the fight is really beautiful, and Noah Beery plays the moment so well, it's clear why he's perfect for this role.
How are you going to stop me, huh?
Please?
Oh, Jimmy.
Jim goes to stake out the trucks with Becca, but no one shows, and the owner of the trucks wants to know if he can take them back, which Dennis agrees to. Back at the trailer, Jim finds his door open and Rocky gone before he hears gunshots. He quickly finds the goons' car before finding them chasing Rocky, and manages to shoot one of them. Hamill is furious about this and insists the remaining goon finishes the job, while Rockford fails to get police protection for Rocky, and as they head for lunch they discuss the case. Jim thinks the plan might be to use the trucks to steal a shipment of sable coats due to arrive at the docks and worth millions, but before he can do anything about it, Hamill's goons attempt a drive-by, Rocky still having no clue as to why they're trying to kill him.
What did I ever do to those guys? Can you tell me what did I ever do to them?
At the docks, they find Dennis there as security for the multi-million-dollar fur shipment. While Jim and Rocky wander around the dock trying to work out what's going on, Jim realises the hijackers didn't want the trucks. They just wanted the cabs, so they could load up the furs and drive out of the docks unhindered. He and Rocky grab a cab each and pursue the first shipment out of the dock, warning Becca as they go. Thanks to some father-son teamwork, they managed to stop the truck, and Jim couldn't be more proud of his dad.
Hey, Rocky? Come on, you old Gearjammer, you nailed him.
It's another beautiful moment in an episode filled with great character development. Back at the docks, the president of the shipping company arrives, and Rocky recognises him. It's none other than Mastermind Hamill, who stole his own cabs so he could steal the furs, and if Rocky hadn't spotted him with Lo Salvo, there would be nothing to connect him to the theft.
But this is absurd. I told you I'm the president of Pacific and Western.
Out of the car, Mr. Hamill.
This is a perfect two-part episode that balances a great plot with thrilling action and fantastic character development between Rocky and Jim. It's perfectly paced so that there's never a dull moment, and it slowly drip feeds the clues as to what's going on, so you work out what's happening as Jim does. You don't even realise that you never see the face or hear the name of the shipping company president when he's first shown. You only see his car. And so it's a genuine surprise when he's revealed to be Hamill. I do feel like this reveal could have been played up a little more, as it's very much thrown away towards the end, but maybe that's also why it works so well. This part is another 5 out of 5 for me, making the whole two-parter a 5 out of 5. Thank you. Goodbye.